Welcome to Getting Real with Andrew Cohen. We have a great show for you today. I don't know why I went into that voice. That was weird. We have a great show for you today. I'm Andrew Cohen, your host. This is my podcast, Getting Real with Andrew Cohen. Woo! That's not a gay impression. That is. I don't know. If you think that is, you're wrong. That's just me being excited. Okay, there's a difference. If you my game impression is, oh my God, look at everybody here. That's my gay / woman impression. A little edgy today. But yeah, we do have a great show today. Today on the show, we have Etderick Bettie. Etderick Bettie, he is a actor, writer, director, computer engineer, fashion designer, jewelry maker. I'm kidding. He does a lot though. He does a lot that we'll discuss in the interview, and he's created a show called, I don't even know if it's out yet. What's the show called? Let's just look up his website. Etderick Bettie. Yeah, this is one from the former 5 Live comedy, and he is and he does a lot. Okay, yeah, so he's a film producer, mentor, and a motivational. Oh yeah, that was the thing. He's a motivational speaker, and he's a really awesome guy. He's really nice. He's just he's very interesting. He's only 20 years old. He's making an impact on everybody, making an impact on all around him. That's from his website. He's a very nice guy. He has a show called As My World Turns, coming soon. It was coming soon when we did the interview, though, so I don't know if it's out yet. That can be on your own research. For all those who are interested, it's supposedly a show about, like, I don't know. It's a show that's supposed to, I guess it's about like teenagers and the problems they deal with, and he's also a computer engineer. He does everything from all walks of life. He's a cool guy. I think that's what matters. That's what we do on this podcast. We interview cool people who do great things with their lives, teenagers who's doing amazing things with their lives, and we have great conversations, and we connect, and we really connected in this one, and I think it'll go really well. So without further ado, here's Etderick. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. It's either Etderick Bettie or Etderick Bettie. I don't know. I think it's Etderick. Okay, we're gonna go with Etderick. So here is Etderick Bettie. Okay, guys, come on, let's do this.
Ace Podcast.
Hey, so welcome to my show, Etderick, correct?
Got it.
Okay, there we go. I'm glad to have you here. So, let's go to tell me about yourself.
My name is Etderick Bettie. I am 19 years old. Currently living in Minnesota, born and raised here.
Wow.
I am in college, graduated high school in 2014. Let's see. What else do you want to know?
Do you think it's high school? What do you think of like high school versus college? Was high school harder? Is college harder? What is that to you?
What I tell people, especially some high schoolers that I talk with, high school does not get you ready for college. I will tell you that. It does not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does not.
It's not very helpful for me.
Well, I say that because you, like, all the things your teachers will tell you, like, oh, you can't turn this in now, or you can't do this because this is what college is like. I'm telling you, it's the complete opposite of everything. Your professors clearly don't care who you are. You're literally just, they give you, this is what you have to do, A through Z. This is the deadline, get it in. Your professors won't even know your name, I guarantee you.
Really?
Yeah, I went through semesters where I had to reintroduce myself literally every single day. Um, I actually just saw a meme on Facebook the other day. It was like something about most people graduate when they're 18. It was something about when you're 18 or how they expect me to do college correctly when just a few months ago I had to ask to go to the bathroom. And I was laughing because I was like, that is so true. Because in high school, you still have to ask to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. But in college, you do what you want. And that's the scary thing because you're guided in high school, like you have to do this, you have to do this, or you won't pass your class. But in college, if you don't do it, if you don't show up, that's on you. And like I said, the professors don't know who you are. They could care less.
That so is that so that that's because of the college you go to. Do you find that have you ever have you traveled around to many colleges, or are you just basing this based on your own college experience?
Based off of mine, based off of people that I know that go to different colleges, other educational background, people with educational backgrounds, they say the same thing. So I've learned that high school is very different, and I just simply say high school does not get you ready for college, in my opinion.
No, yeah, because the reason why I asked, what?
I said life is very much different when you get out of high school.
The reason why I asked that is because I know there's the big state schools, there's big, college schools, and then there's there's the small, liberal arts schools. So do you hear that also from the same, small time, very intimate, 1,000 to 3,000 colleges?
That is true because, I'm a city boy. I live in the cities. So I can't speak from that standpoint. It might be different for people who go to smaller schools. But what I learned from high school, the pressure that's on you when you get out of high school is different because all the things that you aren't capable of doing, like if you're not responsible, you learn either you get responsible very fast or I hope you can float pretty much because the weight gets very heavy. If you aren't good at being on time, I'm telling you, you're either going to be on time right away or I hope you manage to pass your class. So, and because with high school, if you're late, they give you detention, but nobody's really helping you okay, why are you late? Let's help you do this. But in college, you're just expected to know everything. So it's very much different.
Well, thanks for giving me the heads up. So I guess I think this is a good thing to go into the first part of. So I learned that you're a motivational speaker.
Yes, I do my speaking from time to time. I do more smaller group speaking. I have spoken to bigger crowds. I speak to a lot of the young people in my church, community events and stuff like that. I'm more of just about inspiring people. I truly believe I'm a leader called to raise leaders. So whatever I can do to inspire people to keep on going. My thing is you never give up. No matter what happens, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. So that is my big thing that I always go by.
So smaller crowds, what do you, what is sort of do you have sort of a program they use when you motivate people? What do you use to motivate people, or what do you motivate people to do? What's the process, or what's the purpose of it?
Good question. I don't necessarily have a program or anything like that. In the future, I actually will be doing a program actually for high schoolers because, like I said, I do not believe high school gets you ready for college. But my thing is just really rising above life situations because life can get very real for everyone. I personally don't really like talking about myself, but I am privileged to speak with a lot of people. I'm usually somebody that people call all hours of the night when they need somebody to talk to. So
wow.
Yeah. So I just based off of that, to be honest, I don't know. I really don't know how I do it. I'm grateful to God. I mean, seriously, I don't know how I do it. It does get very tough, especially when you're dealing with situations of people who have dealt with some tough things that you personally haven't been through. Just helping them see that, this is not the end of the road. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. which kind of how the project that I do now, that's kind of how that started.
Yeah, as the world turns. Is
yeah,
that
as my world turns.
as my world turns?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what was I gonna say? So how? So I mean, okay. So first of all, you said you don't like to talk about yourself. Use this podcast as your advantage. You could talk about yourself all you want. You could ramble on for 45 minutes just talking about yourself. Use this to tell people who you are. Use this to tell people what you do. Use this to motivate people. You could motivate people on this podcast. So, yeah, so don't worry about, the whole humility thing. I completely understand that. It's very important to be humble. But yeah, you don't have to be humble on this podcast. You could talk about your achievements. This is the time to do it. Um, so let's just get it straight. So you like to motivate people just to really, just to really keep going, like when they're on the trail, to just keep going when they really haven't give up. Do you have any success stories of that? Do you have any people come up to you and say, you've really helped me, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely. And actually, if it wasn't for that, I would not be doing that anymore because that's what keeps me going. Because, like I said, it gets really tough, especially it's when it gets to places when you're dealing with people who have situations that you have no experience with. And people tell me like, oh, you know what, you're right. You help me keep going. That inspires me to keep doing what I do because that is very tough. People who are counselors for a profession and do it every single day, like shout out to them because that is a very tough career to do. Um, I there's certain situations that I can relate with people, but there's certain situations where it's just like I have to. They're telling me, "Oh, Etderick, this is what's going on," and then I have to put myself on mute for a moment. Like, what in the world do I say? And then, yeah, but
What happens if it's like a thing that you really like? What's like a common answer? Like, let's say if it's something that like, it's like a challenging question for you. Like, what sort of an answer like that you would give?
Huh. Well, can you elaborate more on that?
Um. So tell me something. What is something like you mentioned that people might ask you things that sometimes you really can't connect to, like when you would like mute out. So like what sort of things would they ask you when you like mute out?
Let me see. Let me see. Maybe I'll say the most personal one for me until I had that experience on my own was people who, loss of loved ones. I mean, we have people who die. People die all the time. People that we don't necessarily know or that we're not necessarily close to. And I was dealing with a lot of that, and I tell people like, it's okay. You got to keep going. Um, remember the good times instead of the bad. But then September 18th of 2011, I lost my closest cousin. And I mean, this is somebody. Yeah, this is somebody that we ate the same food, we wore the same clothes, we did the same type of activities, we went to the same outing events, and I mean, we did everything together. We grew up together, wore diapers together, liked the same things. Yeah, so until that happened, I was able to understand how lost you can be, and you really just need to hear anything to know that somebody can identify with you, that someone actually cares. A lot of the times that I've learned someone just wants to know that you care. Because, not everybody has been in that situation or not everybody has experienced what I've been through. It may not be what you've been through. But I will tell you from my own experience that I've learned that has kept me going is that people knowing that I simply do care and I do want to listen instead of replying and just talking at them. I actually want to listen to understand and give them my take of things that helps someone keep going.
Yeah, but it seems like you use a lot of your experiences to define how you motivate people. Like, I mean, I've really have never experienced something like that where it was like something really, I mean, the closest person that probably died in my life was, my grandmother. She died a few years back. So that was very hard. That was probably the closest thing because usually the people who've died around me have been people like, sort of like aunts that I don't see as often, but that one was hard because I saw her maybe once a month. And so I haven't really, but like a cousin as you said that you grew
Yeah.
up together. That must have been terrible. So so right now I'm gonna test your motivational skills. Recently something recently happened to me. I'll tell you. I was I was I'm giving you a freebie. I'm talking about me for once. I'm giving you a freebie. So so basically what happened was I was it was Saturday. The reason why I couldn't do the episode on Friday was because the next day I was going to West Point to play at a football game, and I had to get up at 2:50 in the morning. So let's say I said to you, how would you have motivated me to get up at 2:50 in the morning to go to a cold, icy, just kind of miserable to play at a football game? What would you have said to sort of just get me to do that? Just
Well, I would first ask you, is sports something, what does sports mean to you? Now, if sports is something that you want to do as a career, is
No,
sports
I
is
was playing in the band. I was playing in the band.
oh,
That's the
okay, so
worst
it's a
part.
band.
It wasn't. Yeah, it's not like I was actually. People were cheering for me. People were cheering for me for like 5 minutes. That's it.
Okay.
All I got was 5 minutes. It's getting up at 2:50 in the morning for 5 minutes of glory. So if considering that, so yeah.
Okay. Now that's different for me. So this is
Yeah.
one of those moments where I gotta think like, okay,
hmm
um,
This is one of those sort of things where you have to mute out. Just think.
yeah, I have to think about it. Um, I would if I would tell you you should get up because this is something that you have the opportunity of doing. And you get to go play music for somebody else. And music is also a form of therapy. So you never know what somebody might be going through. And they said, you know what? In spite of everything that's going through, I'm going to go and listen to this music. I'm going to forget about A, B, C, and D that's happening in my life right now. And imagine if you aren't there. Imagine if you decide, I'm just not going to go because I'm too lazy to get up and I'm just going to do me. And like I tell people, our life is truly not our own. Everything we do affects us, it affects our family, it affects our community, it affects those coming after us. So I don't know how good of an answer that is for you. Like I said, I mean, that's different for me, but you literally will make an impact on somebody through everything you do, whether you realize it or not.
That was an amazing answer. Past me just got up. Past me just got up. Thank you. You're my past me. Thanks you.
Anything I can do.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's really cool. How you're 19 years old and you're already sort of making your own career, and I think that's amazing to me. So we'll get back to that, but so let's move on to let's move on to your TV show As My World Turns. So what is this? You told me it deals with a lot of themes that teens are going through, but what's sort of the plot of it? What's the TV shows have a plot Lost was there's trapped on an island, but it deals with themes of misery and loss. So I know you're so what is it about?
Now, I will answer that question in the most direct but indirect way that I can, just so that you go ahead and watch the show.
Okay.
But really, what you will see in this show, and not to say too much because we are still filming, we were going to come out this year, but we're pushing it. Actually, you're actually the first one to know this besides my team. We're pushing it back to next year, just because the project actually got bigger than we expected, quicker than we expected. So I want to put more quality and time into the project.
Did you have more outreach of support from people?
Yeah, definitely, all over the country. It's amazing. I mean, I was looking through our Facebook page the other day. I mean, we have literally likes from all over the world. I mean, from Africa to China to America. So, I mean, it is a passionate project that can literally connect with everyone, no matter who you're from, where you're from, what you've been through, what you haven't been through, because it affects, we can all relate in some type of way. But in the show, you will see teenagers and young adults who go through your everyday things. If it's either teen pregnancy or drug abuse, alcohol abuse, loss of loved ones, you see them in the middle of these situations and having to find their way through. And the goal is, can they find a way through? Because, um, a lot of the times life situations will hit us and two things happen. Either you give up or you keep going. So you'll see a lot of that in the show.
How many episodes are there going to be?
There's going to be about 10 episodes in the first season. I won't say too much if there's going to be more than one season. People have asked us if we're going to do more than one season, but I'm saying for now, let's get through the first season. We'll see how it goes. But there's about 10 episodes.
This is something I can actually connect to because I recently created a series called Artless.
Okay.
And it deals with sort of similar things you're doing. It's much lighter. It's a comedy drama. Your thing is a drama, so your thing's obviously going to be much darker. Ours is a lot more lightheaded. But yeah, I can connect to what you're doing in sort of filmmaking and things. So like, how is this being distributed? Like, is it going to be on YouTube? Do you have a site?
Yes. So it's going to be because once the project is done, we're going to be connecting with youth groups and community-focused organizations around the country and around the world who work directly with the topics that we'll be covering. So because of that, we'll be doing a lot of YouTube and Facebook stuff. So a lot of online streaming, really. Yeah.
Do you, so basically it's going to be to community groups, you're going to it's going to be sort of entertainment / a PSA. In a way, is that kind of what you want it to be to like the community groups, or what do you want the message to send out to the community groups? Why you should watch this?
Yes, it's going to be a TV show, and it is scripted. So yes, it's entertainment. But really, just because in the day and age that we are in, everybody's on Hulu, everybody's on Netflix, everybody's on YouTube. So we're using that to create like a positive TV type of thing, I guess.
So you're just trying to create a positive show. I completely understand. So this is being filmed where you live in Minnesota.
Yes, the project is, our home base is in Minnesota. We have team members from all over the country of the United States, and Canada. But everything's being filmed here.
That's amazing. How did this get started? Like, where did this idea come from, or who was the?
I was also the visionary of this project. This project was created about a year ago, about a year and 3 months ago, actually. And like I said, with my motivational speaking, it came to a point in my life when I was dealing with some stuff, and the question was to myself too: how do I keep going, or do I give up? And all my friends that know me, I'm very big on movies, I'm very big on TV. Like, literally, I'm that friend whenever you ask me, what are we doing? Oh, let's go watch a movie. And so they only ask me if they want to go and watch a movie. Or it's more of just like, hey, let's go do this, instead of what do you want to do? So I used that energy and the headspace that I was in to create something positive, because everything that I do, like I said, I believe I'm a leader called to raise leaders. So I wanted to use this to inspire other people who are at the verge of giving up, or who have yet to be at that verge of giving up. So that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
You want to use this, so you started this, so you came up with the idea that you wanted to raise leaders. Is it written in a way that it could do that, or do you just were you just writing it and it's just gonna come out that way?
Our writers, we have phenomenal writers. Our writers blow my mind. They are creating a story, like I said, you'll see people who are dealing with situations, in the middle of situations where it's either sink or float. So through that alone, that will hopefully inspire people. And just the stories of everyone working on this project, because like I said, we have people working on this project from all over the country. Our head writer, he's in Missouri. Producers, we're here in Minnesota. We have a writer that's in Ontario, more writers that's in North Carolina, California, all over the place, just because of the sake of this project. And our goal is really to be a channel of hope and inspiration to those who are going through the things that we're covering, and those who have yet to even experience the things that we're covering. I always tell people, and it's interesting because this project is actually completely voluntary. Um, Everybody on the project is completely voluntary, and this is just for the sake of the mission behind this. We want to give back to our communities. We want to inspire people. We do not want people to give up. We want people to keep going, keep going, keep going, no matter what happens. So that's all part of the inspiration. That's all part of the story of As My World Turns. And I oh, go ahead.
So, has people shared with you their stories on how and use those stories to implement into the show when they write?
Yes, some of our writers do have experience with, some of the topics that we're covering, and they have thrown some of that into that. Some of it, our writers are just talented to be able to get into that headspace of what it's like to be going through these type of situations, whether if it's dealing with teen pregnancy, whether if it's dealing with reckless behavior, whether if it's dealing with loss of loved ones or broken homes, to really create that you can relate if you went through this situation.
Is that what you looked for when you were trying to find your team of writers?
Yes, and I always tell people, people that ask me how was I going to do this, I always tell people this project is simply not for everyone. And I say this because this is for the people who have went through the situations when your back is against the wall and the wall's against your back. Not just
you want genuine.
Yeah, people who really understand what it's like when life gets very real and you either sink or float. Because we want to, with this project, we want to be able to reach out to cities like Camden, New Jersey, or certain cities in California or the East Coast that have ranked the most dangerous cities in the United States of America. We want to be able to reach people who understand what it's like, that life isn't simply fair for everyone, and believe that they can keep going and make the best of their situation. So this project is simply not for everyone. You have to understand, or maybe even go through certain situations to really understand where my team is coming from.
How do you figure that? Do you probably have an interview with the people before you hire them?
Interestingly, here we go, speaking about myself again. I don't like to do.
No, it's of course. Go ahead. I don't know. I understand.
With such a big project, but besides that, in general, I'm a very religious person. I'm a very prayerful person with everything that I do. Because, like I said, the things that I do, we're dealing with people with different backgrounds who have been through different situations. So I personally believe that I have to stay prayerful with these type of things. When this project was being started, I truly prayed. I prayed that the right people would come on this project.
They have.
Yeah, they have. At first, we had all this flood of people coming through, and then as time went, people were dropping, and people always ask me like, okay, people are leaving or people are coming, and things keep changing. Like, aren't you shaken by this? And I simply tell them no, because I truly believe that the right people were going to come at the right time, and we're at a place where our cast is solid, our crew is solid, and it shows that these were the people who were meant to be on this project, and these are the people who I'm going to have around me, and we're going to work together to impact the world. What we're doing.
How did you find all these writers? You say they come from all around the world. How did you find all these network of writers? How did you even get your contact information? How did that occur?
It's a mix of different things. Some people that I knew. There's also services. I did research on writers. I did research on cast members. Casting. I posted casting calls in my state, and we auditioned a bunch of people, and people told other people. Some people will call me and say, okay, I heard about this project. Is this something I can do? Or tell me more about the project. And based upon the project, some people will say, oh, this isn't for me because I can't relate. Or, wow, this is something that I'm looking for. And, it was just a long period of going through that before we were able to get it together.
Mm-hmm. So, now is this show, so let's see, being filmed in Minnesota, have you, how do you still go to school?
Yes, I still go to school.
Where do you go?
I currently go to the community college in my state in Coon Rapids called Anoka Ramsey. I'm currently doing my generals, getting my generals done to be transferring to a four-year university to finish out my degree.
You want to be a computer engineer?
Yes, yes, I do.
I have to say I find that so you're going from film and entertainment world to being the computer and tech world. I how do you, which one? I don't think you can be in both. Which one do you want to do?
I knew that question was coming next, actually. I get asked that every day.
Hmm.
Actually, it was more of going from the tech to the film world because I was doing that major before this project came about. Like I said, this project came about a year ago. Um, like I said, I truly believe I'm a leader called to raise leaders, and I want to do that with all my skills and all my talents.
Hmm.
So whether if it's film, whether if it's computer engineering, everything that I do it for a reason to inspire other people. I truly believe I'm a leader called to raise leaders. I'm your leader's leader to keep them leading people.
Hmm. So it seems like I mean, based on what you're saying, it makes me feel good that at least there's someone out there who's trying to get things done. I mean, we have this political election right now,
Hmm.
and whew,
Yeah.
we need we need somebody like you. We need somebody who really cares about people, right?
Well, thank you. That means a lot. And yes, we do need people who care about people because um that's a whole nother discussion with the politics right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't mean to get into politics there. I
no,
know
no, no, it's
that's not
fine.
very.
What I will say about that is, this political race has blown my mind.
Hmm.
And I encourage people, young, old, wherever you're from, go out and vote because this election is very crucial. This whole political race, it's like a big it's just entertainment really that I see. I
Hmm.
mean, it's just making headlines. Oh, this person said this about the other person, or it scares me because especially people who are my age, we're coming to the point where we're voting for the first time, and
Yeah.
a lot of the people around my age do not want to vote, or this is the type of political platform that we're exposed to the first time we're voting. It scares me.
Hmm.
So
Do you
yeah.
want to put that into your platform when you? So I don't know how often you do the motivational speaking. Do you if you had done it recently, do you want to try to? Would you like to do that? Would you try to like educate young voters who are 18, 19 your age to go out and like make how to learn, teach, motivate them to make their own decisions?
Actually, yes, I do. I mean, and I do a lot of one-on-one speaking or coaching, I would say, with people also, and I do encourage them to vote. I see all the time people who say, "Oh, I'm not voting," and I talk to them. I said, it's important. Your decision not to vote is a
Hmm.
decision. So, you have to vote. It's very important, and I do tell people, I haven't done any speaking on that, because I'm not a political person, but I've actually been thinking about it just because of how the political atmosphere is right now, that young people do need to be encouraged to vote because they're simply not encouraged right now. And I have been thinking about putting something together with my city council here to see what we can do to get young people to vote.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna ask you this question.
Hmm.
You could choose to answer or not. I think you've seen this coming for about the past 30 seconds. Who do you support? You could choose not to answer that or not.
No,
You
no,
have two words.
I will put it out there. I will personally be voting. I am a Democrat, but I would personally be voting for Hillary Clinton.
Hmm.
I can elaborate if you want me to.
You can
Um,
sure. We need take all the time you need. It's I'll go. I've heard podcasts that go. The interviews are go for hours, hour and a
yeah.
half, and I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that, except a lot of the teenagers I get, they don't have that much to say because they're teenagers. They haven't experienced life. You're my oldest interviewee, so if I want to make this the longest one, break the record. You could
Um,
elaborate, please.
I am voting for Hillary Clinton, simply because of the two people or the two major people that are running. It's not
Hmm.
to bash Donald Trump, not to bash how he was raised or who raised him.
Hmm.
It's I just do not believe Donald Trump is somebody that should rule the country. Interesting that the political race went the way that it did. I was speaking with my uncle about this a couple months ago, and I was telling him it's very scary because the world is becoming a colder and darker place. Uh, the world is becoming a colder and darker place, people okay, yeah. The world is becoming a darker place, and people are getting lost. And then if you have someone like Donald Trump who wants to become president, who simply doesn't care about nobody but his own, or himself, I should say, that scares me. Hillary Clinton has proven that she does care about people, and yes, we are humans, we all have our faults, we all make our mistakes, but she truly does care about people. If you notice, if you look at the election, the debates, not the elections, the debates. If you notice that after each debate, that Donald Trump just walk off the stage, and Hillary Clinton would actually go and start talking to people who support her, or actually go talk to people. It's very important to, like I said, I may not be able to relate to you, but just knowing that somebody cares, and between the two debates, Hillary does show that, in my opinion. I'm sure people will argue that, but that's my opinion in contrast of the two.
Hmm. I'll tell you mine as well. See, the thing is, there's a lot of teenagers who go, well, I'm under 18, so it doesn't really matter. But I kind of actually disagree on that because, teenagers can change the election. They can convince their parents, which is the only way. But, when they, those, do you believe that, what, do you believe that, if let's say you're talking to somebody who's not really 18 and they think like, my vote really, I have an opinion on the election, but it doesn't really count, right? Do you try to tell them, oh no, of course it does, Do you do any of that? Like,
I do tell people, especially people under 18, that start considering yourself, considering your voice heard, considering yourself that your voice does matter, that your voice is important. Because once somebody starts doing that, oh well, it doesn't matter anyway. Because by the time you are able to vote, you will not vote because you already have this mindset that it really doesn't matter. It can go any way. My one vote isn't going to do anything. So I encourage people, no matter how old you are, that your right to vote is an important one.
Personally, I like Gary Johnson.
Okay.
But,
okay. I haven't done much research into the into the other parties of those who are running. Maybe because I am a Democrat or so, I don't know what it is. And so much attention is focused on Donald J. Trump and Hillary Clinton, but we'll see.
I'm not obviously about here to change your mind about anything. I'm just saying that's his real issue is that nobody really knows who he is. But yeah, he's really, the reason why I like him is because he seems very focused on the national debt, which I feel like is a very big problem.
Oh yeah.
In our country, the national debt. He seems he's very non-interventionalist, which I kind of like. He seems to really like, he doesn't really, because both of the candidates really seem very more government, which means like they're gonna make our national debt higher because everything they say, they're gonna say they're implement programs, and just that's mainly my problem with Hillary Clinton. Now that obviously we have our opinions, that doesn't matter, but Donald Trump is obviously just an idiot. But that's why I support Gary Johnson, and I had an idea one day that I'd put a petition online for like get 16-year-olds to vote. I don't know I had an idea. I didn't do it for some reason because I don't think they'd change that.
And you see, the interesting thing, not to cut you off, the interesting thing about that is because a lot of politicians, they don't really focus on people they do focus on people my age because we are now able to vote, but people after us, like people like your age or people who are still in high school, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and so forth, because like I said, they can't vote. So they don't really care about education. They don't really care about the people that age group because they're not the ones influencing the election. The politicians care about money. So that's where they go. So yeah, definitely it is. Politics is scary. Politics is very scary.
Yeah. I had a teacher today who told me I had a social studies teacher, a U.S. history teacher. He's like, back then our country was run by geniuses. Today our country is run by idiots.
Yeah, and one personal problem that I have with Donald Trump, for example, I saw somewhere where he said, he said, I'm not gonna cut the programs, or he said, I'm not gonna cut funding for education, but I'm gonna cut from the programs that are sponsoring these programs, or something along that line. So if you look into it, that's why people have to be very careful and pay attention to what Donald Trump says, because it's a bunch of empty sentences. What that simply means is he's going to cut education, but not in the way that you think. So if he's cutting directly from education, but he's cutting the programs that are funding education, what does that mean? He's cutting education. So, so it's things like that he does over and over where I'm like, okay, this guy clearly has no good intentions, but unless they make him better or help his financial status, which is scary, like I said, for young people, because that's a big thing for people who are coming out of high school and are in college. That's a big thing for us.
Still a real mystery why he still has like 30% of the vote. After everything he's been through, after all the scandals, after everything he's been through, how is he still... How do you think? Why do you think he still has... You seem like an educated guy. Why do you think he still has 30% of the vote even after everything he's been through?
Well, I will tell you, America is in trouble. I feel so bad for our country, and, we need people to use their voices to speak out, use people to keep inspiring people to do the right things and help others do the right things, because Donald Trump is still in this race because, like I said, everything now has become so entertainment-based. It's all about, what did he say today? Or it's all about the entertainment. I've literally, especially debate nights, I go on Twitter and literally I just see, I'm just watching this for the fun of it and for the laughs.
That's what I do. I think the SNL, do you watch the SNL?
I love that show. I have not, I heard about the skit about Donald Trump. I have not had the chance to see it yet. But I heard it was pretty intense. I didn't get to see it yet, though.
The Republican primary debates are actually, the actual debates, not even the parodies, are funnier than the parodies. That's when you have a really bad system, is when the real thing is funnier than the parody.
Yeah. And what bothers me, why I tell people, but, at the end of the day, everybody won't be on the same side. People are going to vote for who they want to vote for. And yes, shout out to you. You should. However, Donald Trump, what I tell people have to realize, like you said, why is he even this far in the race? People have to realize Donald J. Trump has nothing to lose. This man is beyond wealthy. This man could sponsor, this man has universities and businesses and stuff like that. Yes, many of which failed. We won't go into that. But this man has money. He has nothing to lose, because after this election, this man is known on a whole nother level. So that opens him to more opportunities, to more money engagements, more speaking engagements, more interviews, and so forth. He's just making himself more known. And that's what people don't realize. Whether he wins or lose, it doesn't affect anybody but the American people.
It's so funny you said that. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's so funny you said that. I literally, on my last podcast, did a joke where it was that it wouldn't be a problem if Donald Trump won and Hillary Clinton, if Donald Trump lost and Hillary Clinton won, because if Donald Trump won, he'd have something to go back to. He'd have money. He has an organization. If Hillary Clinton loses, then she's not getting any government positions. She's not getting any secretary positions. No Republican wants her in the cabinet. She can't run for senator. So all she can do is go back to the Clinton Foundation and play Brick Breaker all day.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I tell people, I said, yes, everything seems so entertainment-based, but you have to realize that this is very important. That's why I tell people you have to vote, because this election is very, very scary. And especially, and I think about younger kids, and I'm speaking more for the standpoint of what I believe and what's passionate to me, and even the project we're working on.
Yeah.
Imagine we have younger kids who are walking into schools who are in middle schools walking into school with weapons or into gang banging and violence and teen pregnancy and all that other stuff, domestic violence at a young age and stuff like that. And then imagine having someone like Donald Trump in power. It's chaos. Um, and one thing I do tell people, if there is nothing to learn from Donald Trump, there is one thing that I love about this election that there is to learn about Donald Trump. That is simply, that message is you can literally, it is no joke that you can do literally anything you want to do in the world. Let that be an inspiration to you that anything you want to do, you can do it. Look at Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on the debates, because I guess that's where a lot of people get their information about the candidates of what they believe in is the debates, but it's been kind of hard in these debates when you have Clinton calling Trump a puppet, and then Trump, like a little baby, says, "You're the puppet." That's kind of, I mean, what are your thoughts on actually trying to get, what they actually believe in on the debates?
One I will say, and I don't know if it's biased because I've been a Clinton supporter, for a while.
The
So
media's biased. Are you kidding me? The reporters have their own political affiliation, so obviously,
yeah. So I mean, I truly believe that you can get more of an understanding from what Clinton believes in. One, I mean, this was somebody who was our Secretary of State at the time. This is somebody who has literally intervened with other nations on America's behalf. So she definitely is qualified to do it. But Donald J. Trump, you really don't see why he should be president. But everybody, like I said, this big political race is a big game show. And people aren't realizing that this is affecting us, that he's even this far. Like I tweeted out the last time during the last, or when the Trump tapes came out.
Yeah.
And I saw, Republicans were going to Democrats, or Republicans were going to go vote for Hillary because they didn't support what Trump was saying. So my opinion was, so are people just now realizing that this is how Trump thinks and talks? Or
John Oliver said that.
Huh?
John Oliver, do you know John Oliver?
Yeah.
He did a bit, it's like people coming out, it's like, but you're the guys who put him there. You can't take it back now.
Exactly. Like, why is Donald J. Trump even this far? But that is the world we live in today. A very scary place.
Okay, well, now let's move on from the American political situation. This is a comedy podcast, not an episode of CNN. So let's go back to computer engineering. So where did that come from when you were, did you always have sort of this thing for computers? Where you just, does it just come to you naturally? What happened?
From as long as I can remember, I wanted to do that, computer engineering. I'm just a big technology person. I love technology. So that has just always been something that I wanted to do.
So yeah, that's between a career. Would you do computer engineering or film or TV or entertainment?
The thing about it is, like one of my closest friends that knows everything that I do, he asked me, he's like, so what is it exactly that you do? I really don't have a name for everything that I do.
The same question.
Yeah, I really don't have a name for everything that I do. I just really, everything that I can do to impact lives and impact my community, I'm going to do it. For example, with computer engineering, what I'm going to eventually be doing with that, once I do get my degree and do some work with that in this country, I do hope to actually travel to countries that aren't as fortunate as America, and who need development with computer engineering computer engineering. And I plan on opening almost like what you would call a law firm, but like an engineering firm where people who want to become computer engineers can go and get knowledge and get resources to help develop their place that they call home and stuff like that. And I plan to do that across the world in the future. So definitely, it's just always been a passion of mine with computer engineering. So I don't know what I do. There's no for it.
The reason why I asked that is because on your site you also say that you do modeling, which is another complete opposite thing of computer engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's crazy. I just do so many things. With the
Why'd you get
modeling,
into
that
that?
is something that I just like to do for fun.
Fun.
I
You just
love
call
to do
up a modeling
pictures.
agent. Hey, you know me. You have a
Yeah.
gig for me?
Yeah.
I'm free this weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I do some modeling from time to time. My photographer, he's also the director of photography for my show. He's a great guy. Cephas Dorpo, he's amazing. He does all my work, private, personal, entertainment for the show. He does everything. So, shout out to him. Yeah,
Mhm.
modeling is just something I like to do, for the fun. Yeah, even on top of that, yeah, I do. There's so many things I want to do. Even on top of that, I might even write a book one day. Who knows?
Oh
So
my
we'll see.
god. You
Yeah.
gotta, you gotta. I don't think you're gonna have enough time. You gotta choose one thing. You gotta either. I
Yeah.
think what you gotta do is you have to take a. Because I think this is. I'm gonna try to help you here. I don't know if this is gonna help, but you have to take. And I think you could put modeling and TV. It's like entertainment or arts. You maybe categories. You did arts,
Hmm.
motivational speaking, and then modeling, and then then you should go online, do one of those random wheel things,
Yeah.
and just let the internet decide for you, because
Yeah. I
that'd be
know.
that'd
We'll
be that'd
see.
be interesting. It's like an internet deciding your entire life.
Yeah, and with that, there's so many things that I want to do. I personally believe I do not have enough time in this world to do all the things that I truly believe I'm called to do.
Hmm.
That's why I'm always working hard. Everybody around me, they tell me I work too hard. And, like I told you earlier, I wasn't feeling well. And everybody keeps telling me it's because you work too much. And I do
Hmm.
believe it's true. I do plan on taking a vacation after my birthday. But
That's a good
even at
birthday
that,
present.
huh?
That's a good birthday present. Vacation, I mean.
Yes. Yes, it will be.
Where
But
do you
then
plan to
again,
go?
even when I do go on this vacation, I actually might plan on doing some networking for the show. I'm always working.
Hmm.
It's hard for me to not work now. I'm afraid that I'm becoming a workaholic actually.
Hmm.
But even in high school, for example, like I played sports more of in middle school, but when I got to high school, I didn't really do sports anymore because, like I said, from a young age, I had these dreams. Like everything that I'm doing now, I had these dreams when I was younger. So a lot of my friends who do play sports, they're like, "Oh, actually, you don't play sports and stuff like that." And I was like, I didn't do that because I knew that's not what I was going to do professionally. I didn't do that because I knew that's not how I was going to impact lives. So that's why I spent time planning the things that I do now because this is what I knew I was going to be doing. And like I said, I
Hmm.
do not have enough time to do everything I want to do.
Maybe you could do it as like 10-year increments. Sort of, you could be a computer
I like,
engineer for 10 years, be in the show business for 10 years, be a model for 10 years,
I
do
like that.
motivational speaking for 10 years.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see
Yeah.
how life carries me. We'll see.
Hmm. It seems like it seems like you have a good direction to where you're going. It seems like you know where you want to be going. Seems you have good things going for you. Do you want to make money because of As My World Turns?
Like I said, this project is completely voluntary, and what I love about this project, the potential to reach people is so great because there's so many ways that we can reach people. Because, for example, just through the show alone, through the plot line, there's the plot line that's going to touch people.
Hmm.
And then, of course, there's going to be critics who don't like it. Okay, but besides that, it's also like a community project. We're going to be connecting with youth groups and community focused organization that because of this, it will create discussions. It will create people being open and understanding like, okay, this is something I'm going through. This is a problem that I have. I need to figure out a way to keep going. Okay,
Hmm.
so if that still doesn't connect with you, we have people who come from different backgrounds, who have experiences, who have used the negative things in their life to create something positive. Um, if that still doesn't work for you, everybody on this project is completely voluntary from myself. I'm not looking to make money from this. I'm just looking to simply impact lives. Like I said, our goal is to become a channel of hope and inspiration to those who are going through and those who have yet to experience these topics. So, it's really just all about impacting lives. So no
Hmm.
matter what way, there's so many ways to hopefully capture our fan base, I'll say, just to inspire people.
Mm-hmm.
keep going
You
and live
said,
their dreams.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So my next question is, you say you do networking. So you do, as you've probably mentioned, you do 10 billion things. You have 10 billion
Oh,
careers
you
right
kind of cut
now.
out there. I didn't hear you for a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said you do like 10 like billion career things. So how do you network between everything you do? Like, what do you network for? Like, how do you do that? For
Um,
what?
it's interesting. It's like I said, I'm a very religious person. I just thank God for all the opportunities that I have. I really don't. It amazes me. I just thank God. It amazes me. I don't even know how I'm able to do all the things that I do. So I'm just grateful to God because, like I said, my time is like I, I'm not a big sleeper. I'm always up working. Like I don't have 24-hour days. It's more like 30, 34-hour days. So I mean, I'm always working. So, if it's either through if I have to like be speaking with somebody who's currently going through something, or I have to put in time to this project, for my casting crew, or just modeling for fun, or networking to make contacts for this project. I just gotta just keep working, and just there's always time. There's always something to be doing, So that encourages me, especially when I get lazy. I can get lazy at times. I'm not
Everybody
Superman.
gets lazy. I
Yeah.
get lazy more than any other people that I know.
Yeah, so so that motive, that I keep that in my mind. Like, there's always something I could be doing, to help me get up. And I just think about, like I always tell myself, there's not enough time to do everything, that I want to do, so I cannot waste time. Um, Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it doesn't get me off the couch or get me off when I just want to sleep for 5 more minutes. But eventually I gotta get up because I gotta make that difference. I gotta give hope to somebody to keep moving.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you know where you're going. I ask this question every single interview I do. It's the last question I always ask. Do you believe you have the drive to be successful?
Hmm. Do I believe I have the drive to be successful? I will say yes and no. That is because, when life is good and you're moving, yes, I believe I have the drive, but there's also times, where I also break down, and I believe I have to look outside of my world to find that inspiration to keep going. So the drive is not always necessarily within me, but sometimes I have to look out because, there's times where the teacher needs to be taught, there's times when the encourager needs to be encouraged. So yes and no. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Etderick. You can catch As My World Turns on YouTube, local community center.
Yeah, if I can just say, if you want to catch up with the project, you can look us up on Facebook. You can type in the abbreviation for the words AMWT 2016 on Facebook, for As My World Turns. It's the one with the blue and gold globe. You can find us on Twitter at AMWT_TV. Our website is being worked on, so it's not out yet, but eventually it'll be asmyworldturns.org. Yeah, you can keep up with me. You can find me on Twitter at wisdom_2_u. That's wisdom, TO for two U. You can find me on my website, iamettrick.com. Yeah, just keep up with us and stay connected with me.
Thank you guys so much for watching. That was Etderick Bettie. He is the executive producer of the show As My World Turns, coming soon to YouTube and maybe your local community theater. We don't know. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please share with your friends. I think he's a terrific guy. Your friends might want to watch him. Maybe he'll motivate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.